Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Welcome to Hello Uglies, the Dragula recap show for Season 6, Episode 6, titled Monochrome Monsters. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one silent, I wish, co-host. Actually, I don't wish, because then it'd be hard to do the show. From Bloody Podcast, please say Hello Uglies to the goddess of glitz, glamour, goth, gossip, and gore herself, Miss Laurian K. Roggenkamp. Hello, Laurian.
Hello! How are you?
I'm doing very well. We've been doing these episodes a little late. Something always happens where we're always late.
I know. What was it? I think it was last week.
You were sick or something.
I was sick, and then this week. So.
Lori, no, hold on. We are no longer talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm gonna bleep it though. And I'm going to bleep me saying, we're no longer talking about that.
So then they just don't know. They won't know what we're talking about.
Strangely, so full of himself, he'll think it's about him.
Well, he'll never know. Maybe it was.
He'll never know. By the way, this kind of... Well, actually, Lauri and I did have a really fun conversation over at Just Between Us Ghouls, which you can get over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. And by the way, too... Thank you to everyone who has bought something on the, one of the collections, whether it's Sydney Gays, whether it's Hallmark Homos, whether it's, whatever, right? But we still need more. Afterthought Media is in trouble. We're not, and again, Laura, I always say that I think people think I'm being funny, and I'm not being funny because we come on here and I
think it's because you're laughing while you're saying it. You're the type of person to be like, and then I stabbed her.
Yeah. It's one of these things where we're getting close, Lauri, and you and I have talked about this. In fact, during a very morose time this week, I won't say what happened. Lauri and I both talked about quitting podcasting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be a bigger deal for you than for me. You'd have a lot more to do. I would just not sit at this desk as much. So I don't think it's that bad if I did it.
Yeah, it is one of these things where, I would be dumb. I've thought about this. I'm being serious. I would be dumb to give up. Hold on for a second, because it's not going where you think it's going to go. To give up doing Drag Race Recap, because we have the name Drag Race Recap, we have the website, we have the management, we have the this, the that, bubbity blue, blue, right?
Yeah.
But I could totally imagine a world where if I get a job that pays well, where I just do that job and then use the money that Afterthought Media makes to just pay the hosts to do it, and I don't do it. Does that make sense? So in other words, I'm just like a silent executive producer on the show.
Or why don't you just sell the name?
Well, I like having it, because I think that would be this thing where I would be so worried that, what if I want to come back to it? Then I can't come back to it. But I could be like a silent executive producer and then use the money Afterthought Media makes to pay a producer, to pay the hosts, and then Afterthought Media pays for itself. And then I pay down the debt and then decide later whether I want to come back or not. And I'm not being funny. And this is Lauri and I are strangely having a real conversation right now on the show. But that is a very, very real possibility, because I'm sure that if I'm getting paid well, I'm going to be working 40 hours a week doing a whole other job.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I'm going to want to do all the shows that I'm doing and all that,
What job are you looking for? Because I legitimately, and I know this sounds like I'm trying to bring it back to Dragula, but I feel like you should legitimately reach out to the Belay brothers and be like, guys, like, hire me for some conceptual things.
So I don't think
I'm begging
they would.
I don't know if they would either, but it just feels to me like you know, you've done
problem.
music videos, you've written for music, you know, like you have experience. Yes. And it seems like I don't think they have people who have experience. I think it's just all people who are like, yeah, that sounds good.
You know what's been really weird is a couple of the music videos that I've written. Now, by the way, I have no illusion. I didn't write the song. I didn't sing the song. I essentially wrote like a commercial, essentially. But it is weird that a couple of the songs that I worked on are now for this young generation, like anthems of a certain generation, or like very loved, you know?
Yeah.
So like Teenage Dirtbag, which is so funny. I have so many stories about that music video. Or there's this band called Simple, but I think this might be the last music video I did for a band called Simple Plan called I'm Just a Kid.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. Yeah. But anyway, but the thing is the Belay brothers have no sense. Like, it's very clear on this show that on this episode even, there's a lot of hubris on this show. And what I mean is that they legitimately think the audience is really stupid, you know? Yeah. And then I think there's probably an element of them that they think the audience is stupid, and that anyone who notices their weird gaps in logic, well, then they're obsessive and they're stupid too, because why would you notice these things? It's just a TV show.
Yeah. But they want to be, the thing that I find so funny is they want to take it seriously, but then if other people say something, they're like, why are you taking it seriously? It's just a TV show. Yes.
Well, Drag Race does that too, but they do it, I guess, sadly, more elegantly than Dragula does. But yeah, because I will say, Drag Race will do something silly. I'll give you a good example. And they've done this numerous times, but the example I always point to is season 6. There's an episode where Adore Delano is not going to finish her outfit in time for the runway. And they go into the break, like, her panicking because she's not going to have the outfit finished. They're going out to the runway. Come on, let's go. We're going. And then you come back from the break and she walks the runway perfectly. The outfit's perfectly fine. And there's no mention of it ever again. It's just like a weird drama that ended. Dragula is doing things where they're legitimately bringing up major show plot points, and then they're just never bringing them up ever again.
Well, their big thing is they're always talking about this inevitable, this thing of like, I'm gonna come for you, or I'm gonna do. And I would love if one producer would be like, explain to me how you're coming for them. Like, break it down. I want, and not even a producer, because the producers don't give a shit, because I think they feed into it. They're like, you could come for them and you could stab them in the back. I want a contestant to be like, break down the steps. What are you going to do to stab me in the back?
This will clearly come up in the cauldron with Jaharia and Aurora, but think about this. There was an episode. Remember, we're only on week 6. We're halfway through.
Yeah.
There was an episode 2 or 3, so like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where James Majesty pulled Aurora aside and was like, there's a rumor going around.
Yes.
That you broke the NDA and you told people you were going to be on Dragula. You know, that we did a whole bit on this, because then she goes, who said it? And she goes, you tell me.
You tell me.
That never came up ever again.
Never. Not once.
And now Aurora's gone.
And you know that it'll be brought up in the reunion. And
no, they've said there's no reunion this year.
There isn't?
That's what they said. But again, they lie. So then there's going to be a reunion. And they're going to be like, well, you dummies. Of course there's a reunion.
Well, they're probably like, I could see them definitely be like, there's no reunion, but then they have like a rebirth or something where it's like,
exactly. Yeah.
like,
some stupid ass shit like that.
And then they're like, it's not a reunion, it's a rebirth. And it's like, all right, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I could see that. 'Cause do you remember too? And I think I remember more. I think I mentioned this earlier this season, but I remembered more when I listened back, where they were like, this finale. This is the one where Dali. No, was it Dali that won? Who won before Dali? Victoria Elizabeth Black. Who was the one where they just didn't even show the crowning?
I don't remember.
That might have been Dali.
I think it was Dali.
I don't remember. There was once, whatever season it was, where they didn't show the crowning. They were like, this finale is going to change the entire show.
Remember they said like after that whole, I think when Dali won or after the whole resurgent thing, they were like, this is chapter 2. This is our moving into our second phase.
Yes, you're right. It was, that Titans was going to be the closing chapter of chapter 1. And that this next thing would be chapter 2, would be brand new. It has not changed at all.
No. In fact, they've doubled down on things.
I would say they've regressed.
Yes. They've regressed. And so all their exterminations are just old exterminations. They haven't done a new extermination.
No, I would even say they're the challenges or the actual extermination?
The extermination challenges.
Oh, okay. Because I'm going to say this season, the exterminations have been really lazy.
But that's
really
just
lazy.
I think that's why the reason why is there's no stakes. And there's no cohesion. There's no structure. And I think that's why the opening has been so blah. Is because they're just like, let's just go in front and talk, And it's just like, what happened in the old openings? Like some of them were crazy, but at least there was something there. At least you were trying something. Now it just feels like you guys aren't even trying to do something.
Well, what it is, they're trying so much to control the narrative that it lands up watering everything down. These queens are not good actresses.
I will say,
let's get into the show.
I will say this though, and I know that again, I feel like I said I haven't liked episodes. But I feel like for the majority of it, we have said we liked the episode. And I will say, I know it sounds crazy. I liked this episode.
All right, this week, the monsters go old school with their makeup in a Lon Chaney-inspired fright feat. For the main challenge, the monsters go black and white for a monochrome monster floor show. In the end, Gray Matter was named the winner of the challenge, while Jaharia and Aurora Gosmic were in the bottom 2. After a totally sucky extermination challenge, Aurora Gosmic was murdered at the hands of the Boulay brothers. By the way, were you like me? Okay, well, let's just do this. Lauri, what did you think of that extermination challenge? And did the right queen get... Oh, wait, hold on. I have this sound. I haven't done it yet. I've had this for the whole time, and this is the first time I remember to do it. And did the right queen get the chop?
Yeah, I was talking to my sister-in-law about this, and we were just talking about how it's just so crazy to me that, first off, there's absolutely no way that they actually were suffocating them and electrocuting them.
Okay, Lauri.
Absolutely
in this
zero
Lauri,
way.
I can prove it to you this one. In this one, again, this is the thing, is they don't even try and hide it. They think we're so stupid. In this one, Jaharia has the air thing in her nose.
Yeah.
And Aurora has it in her mouth.
Yeah.
You literally see the black air. It's not even subtle. They're not trying to hide anything. They literally, the guy straps him in and then puts it kind of like what you would have in surgery or something, or to give you oxygen or something. Puts it in their nose or their mouth. And
it was so, and also again, the thing that was so crazy was, there's no stakes to this. There's no end game. And we're just watching these people and they're just over the top. They're doing that thing where they open their mouth real wide so the fake latex will cover their mouths, and It's just like I guarantee you, if you were being fully electrocuted and suffocated, you would not be moving like that. You would not be moving in that sexy, like you wouldn't be moving. You'd be like, somebody, help me.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. Let's say, for instance, they wanted to give up. How would they give up?
Yeah. Well, how would they tap out? What would they say?
How would they tap out?
And then going into that elimination, Jaharia was completely right. She's been safe. She hasn't been in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And Aurora's been in the bottom twice.
Yeah.
So she's going home. So barring Jaharia completely saying, no, I'm not doing this. I think that's the only stakes to the whole extermination. Literally, it's just doing it. If you don't do it, then you get eliminated. So it's just,
but they need better fright feats, and but the problem is they could probably do better fright feats, but the thing is that takes away their ability to control who goes home.
Yes.
They like it that it's ambiguous.
No, that's what I'm saying is but that's why I say they've doubled down, because they don't want, the whole thing with last episode with the queens deciding that, the ghouls, the scary queens deciding that they were going to send vote for gray matter and anti-heroin to be up for elimination.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that they totally were like, no, you guys need to vote for Vivi the Force.
100%.
They were absolutely like, there's no way we're putting one of them, we're bringing one of them home.
Yeah. But what's funny, though, I think I approached this and then I didn't finish the thought, is they should have let them do this, because they still have in their back pocket a double save because Majesty went home.
Yeah.
So they actually could have let them go through with this and done a double save, that the both queens stayed.
But also what I don't understand is it's a if it's a reality competition show, I know that it's heavily produced, right? But don't you want some sort of this could happen, wasn't that the talk of Drag Race when what's her face pulled the lipstick out and revealed that God, I can't think of her name. She was in the first season, right? Or second season.
What are you talking about when Ben de la Creme, when she pulled out when she eliminated herself?
No, the younger one. The younger queen.
Oh, Naomi Smalls?
Yeah, when Naomi Smalls pulled out was it Naomi Smalls? She pulled it out and she eliminated one of the older queens.
Manila Luzon.
Yeah, Manila. And everyone thought that she was going to go, higher. And it was like, if producers had stepped in and been like, absolutely not. It wouldn't have been as crazy. Right? So wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want them to be put anti-heroin and gray matter up, because that's what they decide, and it shows that there is some choice in this.
Yeah.
There's not a lot, but there's some choice, and it could things could go crazy, and I think that would be more of a plus for the show. But you're right, they want so much control.
Yeah.
That they just can't, relinquish it.
Well, and they were probably even upset that Majesty robbed them of the order that they wanted, which was to get rid of Vivi the Force.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's been 2 episodes, but it's, to me, honestly, barring any medical or family related emergency, I just don't get why people quit reality. You went on this show. You knew what was going to... And she's done it once already. So she knew more what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And she quit. It's just oh my God. So...
well, let's actually talk about the extermination itself.
Okay.
They've all been pretty lazy. When they first did the one where they killed Scylla just because she was they pretend like she was doing a confessional. They just people are oh my God, so shocking. You're okay, whatever. Seemed a little lazy, but I'll take it. They kind of turned it upside down.
Yeah.
But it feels like every single one has been just as lazy. The one that with Aurora makes no sense. First of all, why is she running?
Also,
Okay?
how many times are these people going to go into this dark space before people stop agreeing to go into this dark?
Well,
they've conned like 3 or 4 girls into this dark space, and it's like, stop going in there.
Every single one of them has been the person. Okay, let's take the logic here of this. You're on a reality competition show where let's believe the premise of the show where you know that there's a chance you're going to be murdered. Okay?
Yeah.
And every single one this season after Scylla has been, I'm going to almost write in the screenplay fashion, interior, studio, what is it? Fucking soundstage. Interior soundstage. Dim, night. Drag queen wanders in as if she was just beamed in there by Scotty, right? Like they just all of a sudden appeared and they're like, where am I?
Just go into this room, this dark room.
Yeah,
but
don't try and
don't try and look for a light. Like I feel like if I was asked to go somewhere, I'd immediately go, where's the light? They're like, let me walk further into the distance.
Yeah, and they never know where they are. They're always like, what? Where am I? What am I? How did I just wake up here? And then they walk around. And this one, I don't know if I think it might have been Swan the whole time, but one of them just goes up and just straight up stabs her. And she's like, oh, and then she just walks. You just got stabbed at least 2 times. And she's just like, as if like she just like got like a cut on her hand.
Yeah.
And then she sees a van or a truck or something. And she goes, oh, and I guess the keys are just in the truck. Right? Because she gets in and she just turns it on. And then whoever parked the truck then put a bunch of boxes in front of the truck. Because when she takes off, she knocks over a bunch of boxes that are just in front of it. And so, okay, let me tell you this.
It was that producer that had to hug James Majesty. She was like, she's like, I'm out of here. I'm dumping these boxes and I'm leaving.
Right here in front of this truck. But here's the thing. If this was me, there would be nothing that stopped that car.
Yes.
Right? A person can running you over. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Get the fuck out. I am not stopping this car. She starts driving and the gate starts to close and she's like, no, right? And
not that she's in a truck that could ram the gate.
Just go through the fucking gate. Just go hit the gas and go through the fucking gate.
But that's where reality comes in, where you're like, that they can't do that because they can't ram a gate. So, yeah.
And then Swan, who has a knife because she stabbed her. The easiest thing to do would be to just slit her throat and kill her, right?
Yeah.
No, she puts a plastic bag that you would get at the grocery store to put your jalapenos in. And she puts it over her mouth. And she's like, like mouth open. And the whole time I was like, bitch, take your finger.
Yes. Take your manicured
and poke
nails.
A hole. Yeah. And poke a hole in the plastic.
Yes.
And tear the hole. But no, she just dies.
But also and then there's been a couple where they've done multiple ways of killing. Like the one last time, they what did they stabbed her and then they jabbed her in the neck with a needle. And it was just like, why, how much money are you spending on killing supplies? Like buy a gun, get it over with. I honestly think they're trying to do this thing. And this is maybe you think this too, but I don't know. Where I think the reason why they're trying to put it in that dark room is they want us not to know who it is in the beginning. They want us to think they want to be like, is it Aurora or is it Jaharia? The problem with that is that all these queens are so unevenly matched as far as their size that immediately, once you either hear or see their shadow, you're like, oh, that's definitely Aurora. Like, I saw Aurora's shadow and I was like, oh no, I think I heard her voice first. And I was like, that's not Jaharia. That's Aurora. So
you can tell right away. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to do this thing where I think they're trying to trick people into being like, maybe Jaharia went home. And then, they do this big reveal, but you can almost immediately tell who it is.
Yeah. Okay, we haven't taken a break. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? And when we come back, we are going to talk about the episode, actually.
Sephora stores are everywhere you are. So just pop in when you need a brown lip to match your 90s playlist. A confidence boost before your interview? Or a last-minute gift for mom's birthday. There's always a Sephora near you. Just pop in. Use our store locator to find your local Sephora or Sephora at Kohl's.
Gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs fragrances this holiday season. From the iconic Daisy and Perfect to the all-new Daisy Wild, Marc Jacobs perfume gift sets include everything she needs to feel special. From her favorite fragrance, plus the matching travel spray. Holiday gifts don't get much more perfect than this. So if you're looking for a gift inspiration these holidays, gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs.
With Uber Reserve, good things come to those who plan ahead. Family vacay? Reserve your ride as soon as you book your flights. To all the planners, now you can reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. See Uber app for details.
And we are back. After the extermination, the ghouls from last week's winning team discussed their motives for changing their minds on Grey Matter's possible nomination for extermination. Anti-Heroine walks in the room and fakes everyone out. Pi explains why she nominated Anti for extermination, while Anti feels that Asia should be up for extermination. Also, what is phase 2? Lauri, lots of, again, everything jam-packed into this one post-extermination meeting.
I gotta be honest with you, Pi, her opinion of herself is correct. The more I hear from her, the more annoyed I am with her. So,
yeah, she was particularly really kind of annoying this week. You're right.
And I feel like the more it goes on, the more grating she becomes. And Anti-Heroine to a point too. Anti-Heroine, when she came in, it was like, wow, like her voice, like literally was like nails on a chalkboard. Like it was like, why do you have to be that annoying?
And I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to even speculate. I have no explanation, but don't get me wrong, I fucking love me a skinny guy showing his midriff. I fucking am a sucker for that. There's something about Anti-Heroine. I'm not going to even get into what I think it might be. It literally grosses me out. Like, I actually can't look at it. I had to look at another part of the screen when she's there.
He doesn't look... It looks like he got, like, a flat stomach from, like, years of issues. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
It doesn't look like it was, like... It's not, like, clean living and fitness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which it could be. Mm-hmm. But... Yeah, I don't know. He just, he came in, she came in and she was just super annoying and just like, you know, first off, she said that she was like happy to do it and love to be on stage. And it was like, well, you should have told your face because like that, and I love Jaharia. Jaharia was like both of their performances were mid at best.
No,
and I was like,
she's right. And Auntie was like, I loved it because it gave me a chance to perform and it was so much energy. And I was like, was there a lot of energy? And I was glad that they said that. She was
like barely like emoting with her face and barely moving around. And so, but then what I love is they all sort of as a group, but I think it was before Anti-Heroine came in, right? They all sort of as a group were like, yeah, we decided to play it fair. We decided that's what we wanted to do. We were like, let's play it fair. That's why we didn't vote Grey, because Grey Matter was like, they told Grey Matter she was almost on the chopping block. And then Anti-Heroine comes in, and then Pi says that she picked Anti-Heroine because she wanted to like see her come out of her shell or something. And I was just like,
I have the note here that she has walls up.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, I was just like, why are people always on these shows, especially Dragula? Why are you worried about another contestant having walls up? What the fuck do you care?
But see, this is the thing that annoys me. And Jaharia was doing this in the beginning of the episode, which I appreciated. She was commenting on things, but nobody is like really doing it in the moment. Where I wish somebody would be like, "What does that mean? What is that, and how does that affect you?" If anything, I want people to have all their walls up. I don't want to humanize anybody, because then I'm going to start to root for you, and I'm in the competition and I want to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just wouldn't be thinking about what walls anybody else has up. I mean, just
that's the thing, is they all act like they're producers and that they have to be proven. Yes. You have to prove to them that you have the right to win.
Yes. It's weird.
It's very, very no, strange. You don't. You have to prove to the Boulet brothers you have the right to win.
I agree with you.
I don't understand why every queen just doesn't go, who gives a shit what you think? Like, who cares, Pie?
You know, it's funny, you brought up the part where they were talking about the people and who they were going to vote for, and gray matter and not gray matter and Vivi the Force. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I'm saying it like this is I didn't really pay attention, even when I was taking notes, because I was like, I don't have time for lies and bullshit. Like, it was just clearly producers told you not to do that. Yeah. And now you're just trying to make up all these reasons and go back and reconstruct what happened and revise it. And just, I'm not here for you telling lies, and I'm not here to take notes on lies.
And it was just, the thing was so stupid. It was like, it's like somebody commits a crime and when the police show up, they say, I wasn't here. I was at my friend's house. We were playing Mario Kart, and I won 2 games, but he won 1 game after that. And then they go to interrogation. They say the exact same thing, the exact same way. Then they go again, and they say exact same thing, the exact same way. It's like, then you're like, okay, you're fucking lying because you rehearsed this. So they literally were saying the exact same thing, the exact same way. And it's just like, stop it. Nobody cares, honestly.
Well, also, it's one of these things where they're also like overproving it. Like,
yes. But also, like, Vivi the Force had to go. She was not good. Like, she wasn't. She wasn't. It's not like you sent gray matter home and everyone's like, why? You know?
Yeah.
You sent a basic queen home, and everyone's just like, yes, she needed to go.
Yeah. Let's talk about this whole thing where Jaharia was mad because Pi said she was the leader of the group, and Jaharia was the one that choreographed it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of see where Jaharia's coming from, because I feel like Jaharia did choreograph the number. However, I felt, and this is something I don't think they really mentioned in this part. But I don't feel like and maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't feel like the judges really mentioned the dance moves that much, as far as like her being the reason why they picked her. I think they were just talking more about her performance as like her presence on stage and, you know, that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could be wrong.
No, I think you're onto it. I think ultimately it's one of these things where it's a fight no one cares about, or no one would ever care about, because yeah, it's weird for Pi to claim she was the leader. I didn't see any evidence she was the leader. And then they showed clips of Jaharia saying that there was no leader, and Pi is doing that silent snap. But on the other hand, too, Pi has a point that Jaharia mistakenly believes that Pi won the challenge because she said she was the leader, and that if Jaharia would have been known as the leader, she would have won. And I think that's a mistake too. I think Pi would have won either. I don't think Pi being the leader had anything to do with Pi's win.
I don't think so either. I mean, look, I think it's a Pi thing to do. I think Pi is a little shady. You know, she'll say one thing and do another. But, you know, I think that's kind of every queen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was one of the only actual legitimate conversations that could have been brought up, which is something to talk about, which is what happened at the judging table the last episode. They could bring that up and hash it out. So I was like, okay, this seems like, you know, a good topic, but not rehashing the lie about how they wanted to play it fair, the game fair.
All right, let's move on. For this week's Fright Feat, the monsters must use a replica of Lon Chaney's makeup kit to beat their best face using only the tools Lon Chaney had at his disposal. Later, Israel hands... Oh, this part, I just remember this. Okay, later, Israel hands out the makeup, and the girls do their best to work with this archaic grease paint. In the end, Pi wins the challenge and the right to give someone the curse of boule blindness. In the end, she curses gray matter. Afterward, the girls discuss who they would have cursed, and Jaharia uses this opportunity to confront Pi for claiming to be the leader of the group from last week's challenge, and thus robbing Jaharia of her win. Pi fights back, and the girls weigh in. For this week's main challenge, the monsters must walk the floor show in an outfit made up exclusively of black, white, and gray tones. They must also write silent movie script that will be shown on the screen. Back in the lab, the girls sit around and do nothing. Did you notice that the girls were just sitting there doing nothing? And Jaharia says, okay, there's a thing that they do on the show. Oh, sorry. This just remind me to talk about the way they don't have a budget for space. And so people have conversations right next to each other, but they pretend they don't hear it. Okay.
Yes.
Jaharia regrets coming for Pi the way she did. Meanwhile, Pi and Asia sit 5 feet away from them and have a conversation about Jaharia and the possibility of Auntie joining Pi's and Asia's alliance. It's floor show day, and the ghouls get ready ghouls get ready to strut their stuff. Gray chooses to sit away from Pi and Asia because of their curse on Gray. Meanwhile, Yuri had to rethink her outfit because it was too small and it ripped. A lot to cover here, Lauri. Let's go back to that Fright Feat. Did you have any big thoughts on the Fright Feat?
Well, first off,
I hope you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say.
Okay. I have 2 things. I have something about Israel.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I think Israel might be the best actor on the show.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know why. I just was like, he's doing more than any of them. And he's doing his best. Okay. I'm going to try and say this in a way, not a mean way. I don't wear makeup. Okay? I don't wear makeup. I'm not a makeup person. I think it is a skill. And I think in order to do what these queens do, I think you do have to have a level of talent, and I think it is something that, any of these queens, the makeup they put on their face, you could give me 10 hours and all the makeup in the world, and I wouldn't be able to accomplish it. That being said, when I immediately saw the makeup palette, I was like, oh, you put the gel on the makeup, and then that's how it activates. Yeah. And they go, no, I think we should spit on it first. I was like, why? There's a gel. There's literally a gel that's there right there. So that was a little infuriating. But what were you gonna say? Okay.
So during the video message, they explain the Fright Feat, and then Swan says, and she gets all dramatic with her fingers, and she says, your Fright Feat, your timer for your Fright Feat starts now. And the girls go, ah, and they start running around, right? And then it cuts to the same room they're in, but now it's in black and white, and Israel is just calmly setting things up on the table. And I'm like, I thought this started already.
Yeah,
right?
But that's what I loved, is that he was like so nonplussed about everything.
And then this is the part that I don't get, and they think we're stupid, but I know they have limited space. But just be honest. Then the girls come into the room. I'm like, where were they? They were just in that room. They were in that room. And it says your time starts now, and then it's black and white all of a sudden. Israel's setting the table up, and then they come running into the room as if they came running in from somewhere, but we were in that room. And then
I think when they do the announcements, they go to a different room.
No, they used to. Now they're in they just go to one side of the room. Yeah.
Okay.
So then Israel shows them everything, gives them their little makeup kits, and then he says, "Your time starts now," and I'm all, "It started 10 minutes ago. What are you doing? It doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember them saying in the announcement that their time starts now.
Yeah, it's at the very. I could pull it up,
okay.
but
No,
yeah.
I believe you. I just don't remember them saying that.
And then so now let's go to so after they name Pi as the winner, and then she curses gray matter, which they should call these Boulay blessings, because every single time they do it, someone does really well.
I love how I think, honestly, I feel like that's how they act now. Like, did you notice Gray wasn't even, like, remotely upset? Like, she was just sort of like, oh, no. Like, she was just like, whatever.
So then, Auntie says, "Oh, I would have cursed Asia." And then Jaharia says, "Pi, I would have cursed you." And then this is actually when they have the real conversation about the leader and the this and that. When we talked about it earlier, Jaharia just said it in confessional. But this is when Jaharia confronts Pi. And in confessional, Jaharia says she's mad at Pi because it became obvious Pi is only looking out for herself. And I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, you dumb motherfucker. It's a competition show.
Yes.
Who else would she be looking out for?
But see, that's the thing that I find so frustrating about these queens is they are in one moment very realistic and in the next moment completely unrealistic. Like Jaharia will say something that's like, yeah, that's a great point. And then in the next moment will be like, it's like she wants to win this competition and have nobody else win. And it's like, what? Yes, of course. But
it makes no sense.
Can I just say how frustrating that moment was? I mean, I know that yes, there's a lot of downtime, time suck moments on this show. But I mean, honestly, how useless was that moment to be like, well, if I had one, it's like, well, then why don't we just go around the room and always ask if you had one, what would you do? If you had one, who would, it's like, can we not, who gives a shit?
You don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then they finish that conversation and then they cut to the lab. And for some reason that's never explained, because you have to understand in the premise of this show, as soon as in every episode, as soon as the Boulets go, your challenge starts now, in theory, because remember, they lie to us and they make it seem, Drag Race is the same thing, that the girls are constructing these outfits there.
Yeah.
So they have no time to do this, right? And they're like, oh my God, so they do that illusion where the girls do the fake stuff and all that stuff. But they just give up. They just give up on this point. They cut to the lab and it's literally Aurora, Jaharia, and then Pi and Anti-Heroine just lounging in the lab, just sitting there, like doing nothing. They're literally doing nothing. We don't know where the rest of the cast is. The four of them are just randomly in the lab, just sitting there as if they're waiting for the bus. Now, the other thing I mentioned this earlier is they're having private conversations. They are sitting
so close,
right next to each other.
Yeah.
Pi is sitting directly next to Jaharia. Like, Pi can't be more than 4 feet away from Jaharia. And they're having these private conversations where they're talking shit. Jaharia's talking shit on Pi to Aurora, and Pi and Auntie are talking shit about Jaharia. And they're right next to each other, and we're supposed to pretend like they don't hear each other.
Yeah. That was super weird. And then they were like, and then Pi was like, I don't know if I want to be in an alliance with Anti-Hero. And it's just like, okay. This alliance bullshit. Does nothing. Yeah. This alliance bullshit again. It's just like the alliance, kept Asia from winning a competition? Because if she had gotten the curse, she'd have won that competition. Because apparently those curses, you win.
Yeah. What about Floor Show Day? Anything on Floor Show Day? I didn't think anything really.
I don't really remember Floor Show Day.
The only thing is that Yuri talks about. I think, but Yuri was not a non-presence this episode. Yuri talks about how they did have to rebuild a dress because their dress was too small and it burst.
I got very scared for Yuri. I have actually liked Yuri. I don't think necessarily that she'll win, but I have liked Yuri as of late in this competition. So when she said that, I thought, oh, you're not long for this world. Like I thought, oh no. So that scared me a little bit because I was like, how's she gonna pull this off?
Yeah. So then they do the floor show. I'm gonna cut to the chase here.
But sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
sorry.
go ahead.
But one of the things I just because I just thought of this, that Yuri thing kind of makes me laugh because Yuri's outfit is sort of what the Boulet brothers would get if they really honestly stuck to that timeline, which I do find funny that they were basically like, you did nothing. And she was like, I had no time. And it was like, so you mean to tell me that you guys make us pretend to believe that there is this, that they are making these outfits within this allotted amount of time.
Yes.
But then a queen actually has to make an outfit within that allotted amount of time, and she doesn't have enough time to make an outfit.
Lori,
so how are we supposed
Lori, they do these contradictions all the time. You're right. This is a very good point. It goes to my theory that they both think the audience is extremely stupid. And if the audience is clever enough to figure it out, then it's like, what's your problem? It's a fucking TV show, whatever.
Yes.
They play both sides of the fence. You're right, because it's one of these things. You're right. If that doesn't make any sense, you brought the outfit from home, but yet you're creating it there in the lab. Because you have to understand something. If you think we're kidding, when they announce in the video what the challenge is, they give the illusion that the queens have no idea that this challenge is even coming.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, because you have to create an outfit that's black and white, no tone. And they're like, oh my God, right? So you're making it seem like they have to create the outfit there from scratch in the lab, right?
Yes, yes.
But then when it comes down to it, then you're like, no, you don't. And then yeah, you're right. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of it is when they tell them, you're doing this kind of look, we don't want to see this look anymore. Well, motherfucker, all the outfits are already chosen and made. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
We don't like this. Stop doing it. And then they get mad at him the next episode. It's like,
Lauri, they're so inconsistent. It just literally, it's infuriating. Okay, floor show day. So we're gonna talk about the looks. On the main stage, I'll tell you, there were Pi was safe and just went to the cauldron and hung out. Asia, Gray, and Anti-Heroine were in the top. Yuri, Aurora, and Johari on the bottom. I asked the ghost host to analyze the looks. We're going to go in order from top to bottom. Here we go. Let's start with the winner, Gray Matter.
Ah, behold the sinister majesty of Gray Matter. Cloaked in textured black from head to talon, they embody the foreboding elegance of silent era horror. A creature born of nightmares, with bone-like wings and a face twisted in skeletal anguish. A well-deserved victory, for they are the very essence of monochromatic dread.
Okay, any big thoughts on Gray Matter's look, Laura?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I just like it.
I mean, Gray Matter consistently delivers, I will say.
Yeah.
All right, next one we have Anti-Heroine.
Oh, kill for me. I don't know if we were doing
Wait, what?
I said kill for me. I don't know if we were doing that.
Oh, not a thrill.
Oh, sorry. Thrill.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I always forget kill is
Gaze
that.
Yeah.
Upon Anti-Heroine, a spectral vision of dread, with her nightmarish corpse-pale visage and eyes like voids of despair. She glides forward like a banshee from the shadows of Caligari's cabinet. Her form is both elegant and eerie, a masterpiece of monochrome menace.
Okay, that's anti-heroine. Do you have any big thoughts here, Lauri?
I honestly don't remember her outfit, but I'm just going to go based off of her in general. I'm not a fan.
Oh, so that's going to be a kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does bug. All right, next we have Asia Consent.
Asia.
Why does the ghost host always start with Yeah.
Asia Consent. A twisted carnival of grotesque delight. With writhing tentacles and a fractured face of madness, she evokes the essence of a demented marionette pulled from a fevered nightmare. Her every detail, from spiked tendrils to painted wounds, creates a spectacle both haunting and hypnotic. A true monochromatic monster of macabre allure.
All right, Asia Consent, Lauri.
I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but this brought up a disagreement between the Boulet brothers. I like this outfit.
Where did you fall on this?
I liked it, and I agree with Swanthula. I felt like, there was but that's kind of how I felt about, if we go back to the first episode with the mummy with Aurora, I liked Aurora's mummy outfit, and I felt like it was a reimagining, and so I feel like they kind of need to figure out what their definition of reimagining is. Because to me, it feels like Dracmorta's reimagining is basically just the same thing, but slightly different.
So it's funny. We're like the Boulets, and I agree with Drac. I think they were pretty clear that it was supposed to harken back to some sort of silent era movie day. I'll be honest with you. I think Asia misunderstood the assignment.
Oh, for sure.
Because she kept saying it was something having to do, let me see, monochromatic. She misunderstood it to be like, what was the word she used? I'm like, oh, she thinks that's what it's supposed to be.
Maybe she thought it was monarch. Was she the one who was saying that it was about a princess who was like above her people or something like that?
It was something weird. She kept using a word that was close to monochromatic. I'm like, oh, she misunderstood.
I do also say my favorite part, and if you guys don't, my favorite part of the whole episode was Dracmorta and Swanthula and the judges afterwards. I thought their banter was pretty funny. And I love how Dracmorta pulled up the script on her phone to be like, throw it in Swanthula's face. I thought that was funny.
What?
I still agree with Swanthula. I say thrill.
Okay, you say thrill. All right, next now we're in the bottom three here. Remember, Pi was safe, went back. So now we're in the bottom three. Ghost Host has his own take on this. Here we go, Yuri.
Yuri, a haunting bloom from the Garden of Nightmares, with petals that recall a deadly orchid and sharp, piercing fingers. She cuts a striking figure, but something feels restrained. A creature of beauty whose terror fails to fully blossom. Alas, her menace fades just shy of true horror.
Okay, Lauri, what did you think of Yuri?
To be honest, I loved the head.
Yeah, it's like amazing. I'm looking at it right now.
The head was I give it a thrill just purely based off the head. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And so part of me feels like kind of bad for her because I feel like if she had brought, like if that bodysuit or whatever she had on didn't explode, or I don't know what happened, I think she would have won the challenge because her concept for the head was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm in agreement with you. All right, next we have Jaharia. Here we go.
Behold Jaharia as the beastly bat, an attempt at primal terror that, alas, falls flat on its furry wings, though her feral visage and towering wingspan evoke a creature from the depths. the execution feels more costume than curse. A noble effort, but the darkness lacks a bite.
I'm going to have to agree with the ghost host on this one. Where'd you fall on this, Lauri?
I agree. I mean, look, Jaharia to me has never been a looks queen. She's always been a performance queen. And I feel like that outfit reminded me so much of her first episode outfit. It was just very like one note, fluffy. I forgot the animal. What did Jack Morta think it was? Because Swanthula said it was a bat, right? But then Jack
Which
Morta
it clearly is a bat.
Yeah, but Jack Morta thought it was something else.
Yeah, I don't remember. They laughed, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I liked it. I like Jaharia. The outfits are not great. So,
It's a kill for you?
Kill.
And then finally we have the one who went home, Aurora Gosmic. Here we go.
Aurora Gosmic, a creature of aquatic horror, yet doomed to drift lifelessly in murky waters. Her toothy, ghoulish mask and spectral chains suggest terror. But alas, the look lacks the polish and menace to reel us in fully. A valiant effort, yet she sinks beneath the waves, lost to the depths of Dragula's abyss.
Laura, your thoughts here?
Yeah, this was just very lackluster. I mean, how can you not put shoes on? Like that was insane.
I have a picture here, and look, it's literally just like cloth over her feet.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I love how what was the queen's name? Who was the judge? I forgot her name.
Violet Chachki.
Yeah, Violet Chachki, who's amazing. But I love that, like, she was like, oh, I didn't know what to do. And Violet Chachki was me, like, sandals with heel. Like, she was just like, I immediately had the answer. It was just like, yes. I mean, if you're going to be a glamour queen, I got to be honest with you, Aurora has been a disappointment. She has not really, brought it. I personally loved her first episode outfit. Mm-hmm. Every other outfit I felt like has been a slow decline.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Back on stage, Pi is named safe and goes back to the cauldron. Meanwhile, Asia, Auntie, and Gray are still in the top, with Gray Matter named the winner of the challenge. Later, Yuri, Aurora, and Jaharia were in the bottom, but Yuri gets another chance, leaving Aurora and Jaharia as the bottom two. Back in the cauldron, Jaharia and Aurora make their case to the other cast members. Later, Asia and Aurora speak alone in the corner, and Asia assures Aurora that Aurora's not going home. Meanwhile, Jaharia reveals her silent but deadly strategy, and anti-heroine steps in to play peacemaker. Lauri, any thoughts on the cauldron?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was weird that Aurora was just like, told Jaharia, you have no personality and you bring nothing to the competition. It's like, are you talking to a mirror? Or who are you talking to? Majesty literally tried to get you drama, and you just were like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
and waited a whole day to ask anybody. 2 days, like a whole challenge. Yeah.
So, I thought that was weird. I had a thought, but I lost it. What are your thoughts?
So I think it's weird. I mean, this has come up every week. So this is clearly a producer-driven thing where they're making the girls plead their case and then attack each other. Why plead your case? Why attack each other? You guys aren't making the decision.
Yes. That's they feel like they have to say stuff to the queens, and they're not the ones deciding. And then I don't know. I just
it's on Survivor, when they have to plead their case to the jury. I think Big Brother does something similar. That makes sense because those people are voting you out. They're not doing that here, Yeah. So like what it's like Dragula said, I like that Survivor does that. We should do that. But that's not your show.
That's not the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the part where Jaharia goes, I'm being silent. It's a strategy. A strategy for what? Because then she's like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's how you take someone out. I'm silent but deadly. Who are you taking out?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, what was it? Pi or Anti-Heroine was like, I do think that Jaharia is shady, and I do think that she's nice to you, but then will stab you in the back. And I'm like, how? How will she stab you in the back?
Yeah.
How does she do that? Like, explain it to me. What steps would she take? So, yeah, no. And then Jaharia's thing about strategy, there's no strategy.
The strategy is make your outfits better. That's their strategy. Yeah. All right, for this week's extermination challenge, Jaharia and Aurora are placed against a wall, and then a plastic sheet is placed over them, and the air is sucked out. It looks pretty dramatic. Backstage, Aurora tries to make her escape. One of the Boulets stabs Aurora, but Aurora manages to get away. She makes her way to a van and tries to drive off the lot, but a gate stops her, and then one of the Boulets places a plastic bag over her and suffocates her. Lauri, any final thoughts on the episode?
I mean, I don't know. I liked the episode mostly for the Boulet brothers back and forth. I thought that was cute. I'm interested to see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, we've said it once and we'll say it again. We're nitpicking on weird logic mistakes, but the episodes are very entertaining. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Is when we do Hallmark Homos.
Yes.
Where you and Hallmark, any Hallmark movie, especially the ones we watch, the Patrick McBrady ones, they make no sense. But as Lauri and I have said, and we've seen in the episode, the movies are extremely watchable. They're very watchable, and they're watchable.
Entertaining.
Yeah. You're not bored.
Oh, wait. No, I'm thinking of the Cabin one. That wasn't written by Patrick McBrady.
Oh, no. The Cabin one is not written by Patrick. That one is like a really bad, like, infomercial. Christmas Cabin.
I still, to this day, believe our theory that it's a porn with all the sex scenes cut out.
Guys, I am telling you, just to do a final pitch here to help us raise money, it's $5 and you get the entire first season of Hallmark Homos, and it is worth it should be $15. I'm not even being funny. It should be $15, $20 because they're super long episodes, and please, you got to hear what we're talking about. Any other final thoughts, Lauri?
Shut up!
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Hello Uglies. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of Dragula Season 666. So, for Laurian K. Roggenkamp and myself,
so long, Uglies!
Thank you for listening to Hello Uglies. Have something to say? Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. For access to more LGBTQ content and other Afterthought Media shows, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Hello Uglies is an Afterthought Media podcast.